Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We're bringing everybody in on a Monday. Welcome, everybody. They're coming in. Here they come. This one is always, there must be a really good one today. Everybody's bright and early coming into this one. It is a good one. We'll be talking about lead generation today. And as we all know, he or she who has the most leads wins the game. Boy, that's how you win. Every problem that you have or situation you have in real estate can be solved with leads, right? If you don't have enough money, you need more leads. If you don't have enough free time, you need more leads. If you don't have enough leverage in your business, you need more leads. And so we've got some superstars on here today. And as people are filing on, real quick, I want to do our commercial of things we have available for you. If this is your first time attending here, just so you know, we have all kinds of really cool tools. One of them is we have a Facebook page that you can join. The Facebook page is incredible. It's got all our different events that are coming up and things like that. You'll love that. For those of you who can't make Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time, we also record these. I do recommend coming live, though. Here's the reason why I say that. How many videos do you have in your queue right now that you're going to get around to watching? You're probably hundreds that you don't get to, but show up live. You can ask questions of the panelists, and we'd like for you to be a panelist one day, in fact. So make sure you come, check it out live. It's the best way to go on time, block it out. Mondays, noon Eastern Standard Time. Of course, we also have an Instagram page that's kept up. And then we have a web page. Now, the cool thing about the web page is under the events tab, you can suggest a topic. Maybe that topic is something you'd like to hear about, or maybe it's a topic that you're an expert on. We'd love to have you speak, maybe be on a panel, maybe be a featured speaker. And then, of course, we always have on here what's coming up. We like to schedule our masterminds, what it's going to be, so that you can plan ahead of time. Bring your questions. Here's the thing about your question. If you have it, someone else in the group has it too. It's just everybody seems to get shy for some reason when it comes to question time. And today we have an awesome panel of 5 panelists. So we're going to be Michael Mundey, DC Clark, Daryll DC Clark, Jessica Lombardi, Drew Schroeder. I know I always get it wrong. It's a Schroeder or Schrader, Drew. He'll correct me when we get on here, I'm sure. And then Kim. Kim, how do you say your last name? Jarrouj? She's like, well, how do I unmute?
Man, you really did a good job with that. Jarrouj, yes.
Jarrouj with the J at the end on there. So love it. Is that right? Is the A silent, the J silent?
Jarrouj is pronounced. That last J is on there.
Very cool. Must be some fancy French name or something you got going on there, Kim. But these guys are going to take it. And so what we're going to do today is I'm going to have a question for them. And by the way, you guys, when you have questions, you can put it in the chat or you can raise your hand down at the bottom and we can call on you. But think of questions that you would like these guys to answer. I've got some preset questions we're going to start with just to get it rolling. But if you have a question that comes up for you, put it in the chat and we can read it off for them. And so I'm going to start, and we're going to go through this with our panelists. And it looks like for me on my screen, it's going to go Drew, Jessica, Kim, and then where's DC at? There he is. He's down there. If you want to make him a co-host for me so he pops up to the top, that would be great, Big John.
Yeah, we got Michael too.
All of our panelists. Is Michael on there? I don't see him. There he is. I see him over there. So Michael, all right. So first question that we're going to start with, because let's get into this. Everybody showed up on time. The thought on everybody's mind is this. What is your most effective lead generation strategy and how has it evolved over time? And I'm going to start with Drew on this out of Indiana. And Drew, if he looks nervous, it's because his team is playing the Ohio State Buckeyes this weekend coming up. That's why he's a little nervous there on his face. But Drew out of Indiana runs a massive team. He's a big-time realtor, and he has great real estate lead generation strategies. He's going to share some with you today, his most effective. Take it away, Drew, and then we'll move on to our next panelist. Same question.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks for having me on the show. You did pronounce my name correctly. It is Schroeder, and I'm excited to shock the world and beat the Buckeyes in the shoe. So I've been in the business for 21 years. I've done a very good job of just taking advantage of the relationships that I already have. So for the new agents that are a couple months into the business, don't focus on how many years you've been in the business, just focus on who you've been your entire life. And I've always looked at kind of the honey Drew list and my wife gives me and what my schedule looks like for the week. And then I've always just had this give and live intentionality behind everything that I do. So what I mean by that, when I started out at age 22, I was playing in a basketball league and I knew I was playing basketball for exercise and camaraderie. I thought I'd make the league better. I tried to add value to it, and I bring Gatorades and water bottles, because I knew I was going to be there each week. It's now kind of transformed through the years to golfing or flying the drone for my kids' football program or giving back because I know I want to be the best dad and best husband I can give. I've done a lot of stuff just giving back to the people in the community that's helped support me so much. Finding charitable ways to give back. I started a coat drive. We'll do 500 coats instead of giving them to Goodwill. I partnered with a local dry cleaning company, and that is a big thing for the whole month of December. I've dressed up as Buddy the Elf for 16 years in a row, and I have a Santa event where that's a one-to-many marketing. So that's December 1st. And I always just try to be the resource for things outside of real estate, and give back to the people that, continue to support me, and things have worked out well.
I love it. I love the give back attitude on that, because quite frankly, a lot of people out there think realtors were just money grubbing realtors, right? But giving back to the local community and meeting those people, that's a great one on that. Jessica Lombardi, she's licensed in 2 states, superstar in both New Mexico and Florida. Her husband's a veteran. She's got how many kids now, Jessica? We got, you just had one, 4 kids. Her littlest, cutest one just turned 3, right? She 3 or 2 now? 4. Wow.
She's 4.
Okay, so she's 4 now.
Time
So moving
flies.
on. So Jessica, your most effective lead generation strategy, because you're operating in multiple markets, what are you using?
So usually what I do is I really focus on my sphere. The people, kind of like what Drew said, the people that I already know, networking. But when I first started, I really didn't know a whole lot of people. So I had to kind of do open houses at the beginning to meet people, go to networking events to meet people, put myself out there. But I think it's changed a lot now. I've been doing real estate for about 7 years. And now I really use my database. I pour into them. I give back a lot to my database, whether it's sending them little gifts in the mail. We do client events that are just ways to kind of really celebrate them. And we just pour into our database every single day.
So you would recommend for somebody to focus not so much on strangers, but on people that you already know. So it sounds like you're
Yeah,
saying.
people that you know or can somehow have some sort of relationship and connection with. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. So Kim, tell everybody what market you're out of and how long you've been in real estate, and what is your most effective lead generation strategy?
Well, I'm in the Charleston, West Virginia area. I cover quite a lot of counties around here, pretty much within a 2-hour distance of my main city. And then I start referring out unless it's lucrative and worthwhile driving that far to keep going. But basically, I am married, have 4 kids. I've been in real estate 15 years. And I started by, really focusing on my Facebook lives initially. I had something called Tip Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. every Tuesday morning. I was very consistent with it for 3 years. And I basically just was a resource for people. I told all about real estate, answered all kinds of questions that people had. Nobody in my area was doing anything like this at the time. This is, now we have, TikTok and all these things, but we're talking even before all of that. I mean, Facebook Live was the thing. And, and people in real estate weren't really utilizing it to what I felt like was its potential at the time. So I jumped on that, started exposing all my closings, everything social media wise, and it just started to take off from there. After I would finish a Tip Tuesday, I would see my inbox, get messages. And it may just be questions and not necessarily a sale. Some were like, hey, I really would like to talk to you about listing my house. So it turned into leads that way. I've basically taken the clients that I've had over the years and done a lot of what Jessica had mentioned and Drew, that, you know, you really nurture the people that you have. And that is definitely key. I know, like, after I finished kind of doing my Facebook lives, you know, stories started to become popular. So I started to transition out of that because the algorithm changed and I wasn't getting as much, you know, basically interaction. So I started to do stories. And then, you know, as I noticed that, you know, my kids were all in, of course, school, and, you know, they were all in sports teams and things like that. So I took a very localized area at the time, and I wasn't in Charleston. I was about 20 minutes away at the time living, and they were all going to school. And I utilized everything that they were doing. So I, you know, helped with the schools, helped with the sports teams. I donated waters to the, like, I would brand my waters and I would donate them. And I still do that today to concession stands for sports. And I give them cases and cases of water to last them their season. And everybody at the games are carrying my waters. So they make the money on them, you know, and I'm able to get my name out there, but also be able to give back to the teams. But one of the big things I did, I put a billboard where my kids went to school. I sponsored all the programs. I was on t-shirts if the cheerleading team was going to states. I was, you know, basically anything and everything to do with that localized area. And that helped me to expand. And then now that I'm in Charleston, which is about 20 minutes away, and I moved here 3 years ago, I'm doing the same thing to get my growth out in this market. So really supporting the university here in town. We have the University of Charleston. It's a AA school, really great in sports. So I get into all of their sports sponsorships. They, you know, introduce me at halftime, pass me a football, whatever it's going to be, and invite me up to the skybox. I can invite clients to the skybox, whatever it is. I jump in and try to contribute to the community. So everything that I do marketing wise, I'm trying to find a way that I am giving back to my community. There's I would say very limited dollars spent in just like my billboard. Billboard would probably be one of the few that I actually spend money on, and it's not really a contribution, so to speak, to the community. So even when I buy client gifts, I'm looking at localized business, you know, so I can interact with the business owner. They get to know me, I get to know them. You know, all of those things have really helped to transform my business and help me be basically about 90% referral now.
Love it. I'm hearing a theme here so far through our first three people, working with people that know you, right? And working in the community and giving back. That's awesome. We're going to go Mike Mundey and then Daryll DC Clark after that. Again, most effective lead generation strategy you have right now. And if it's evolved over time, how has it evolved? We'll go with Mike and then we'll go with Daryll.
All right. Hey, guys. Awesome to see you all here. So I think a lot of these guys, you know, there's definitely a common theme. Relationship building is really essential in what I do. And I think what, you know, most everyone that's successful is doing. You know, be you, dig into your community, dig into who you are and what, you know, what makes you excited. You're excited about, you know, obviously helping people and being in real estate, but you have other, you know, interests and hobbies, etc. I'm huge on like my connections in the community. I've been a coach for 25 plus years. You know, played college soccer, played professional soccer for a while. And I've coached, you know, high schools, university level. I've coached, you know, 8-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 4-year-olds, you name it. And I've watched them grow up. So that's a huge sphere for me because I built a lot of trust in doing what I do there, and it translates. And, you know, for me, I've watched kids that I've coached when they were 8 years old, you know, grow up, go to high school, college. They're, they're now in the professional world. They're starting families. They're looking to buy their first house. Their parents are looking to downsize because now they're empty nesters. So that's been, you know, something that I definitely tune into. I definitely try to connect with my sphere, but when people say your sphere, it's not just my sphere, it's my sphere's sphere. So it's people that, you know, I may not talk to or have ever known if it weren't through that, you know, that branch of my sphere. but it's former coworkers. So I worked at AT&T for about 5 years. I worked with business owners, small business owners, regional business owners on their SEO, their websites, etc. Back when not everybody had a website, and if they did, it may not have been great. So I built a lot of trust, and I built a lot of relationships with business owners that I can go back to now and talk to about what their needs are in real estate, either personally or professionally. And all my coworkers that I interacted with, I stay in touch with them, or not hyper regularly, but real estate for them. More than anything, I try to set myself up as the resource. Like, oh, you need an electrician, you need a fencing guy, you need whatever it is. It could be an ancillary thing to actually buying or selling real estate, but they know that if they can guide or direct somebody to me, or they can come to me and I will have an answer for them, that just eliminates the work they have to do. And people want things to be easy, and they want, obviously there's the trust factor you have to build first, but that's the foundation, and then you run with it from there. Like I said, I've coached for a long time now. I'm getting involved doing, this little kicker soccer training sessions at our park in the community, because I have a 3.5 and a 2.5-year-old. So they're getting to the age where, they're going to start wanting to, get involved with team sports. And so now I'm connecting with all these people in my community that have kids. I see them at the library, I see them at the daycare, and they're, hey, that start again, what are you there? And that's been a huge opportunity for me, and it's not something that pays off immediately, but it builds over time. And I definitely think that's been something that works well for me. And I think everybody has something in their life that they can engage with in terms of a hobby or a passion that can allow them to connect with people that are like-minded, that will transfer into, hey, I trust you, I like you, I know you, and oh, by the way, you do real estate. So I literally have a story, and I know storytelling is huge, and I think the more of that you can do, it connects and relates. But I went to high school.
I think we're losing you, Mike, but we got the. I think we lost you on there. We'll let you click back in. Hey, Mike, I think we lost you. All right. But we got it. Know, like, and trust, right? They got to know you, like you, and trust you. What better way to get them to trust you than working with their kids, right? If people trust you with their kids, they'll trust you with their real estate for sure. So, Daryll, DC Clark, let's see. What do you got, man? What's your most effective lead generation strategy, and how has it evolved over time?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hey, so my effective lead generation has been a lot of referrals, but this kind of take you back around 2012. Our coach, David Plummer, DP3, we call him. He had us. He started a accountability program with us, and the first thing that Melvin and I did was we went out and put out 5,000. We had 5,000 flyers printed, and we started going old school, um, eyeball to eyeball, door knocking, and just pretty much having conversations. That was like 2012, because we kind of lost our way for a while, and we got a bit comfortable, and we started, we just had to go back to the basics. And so that really helped a lot, because what it did was it really helped me to understand, number one, is that what Mike said earlier, this does not change. People are going to do business with folks they know, they like, and they trust. I don't care about what social media, your platform that you're on, and which is all great, because that's just a caveat to what we do. But people will put their money down on folks that they know, like, and trust. But most importantly, in this business, you have to find, just like when we talk about attracting agents, we have to find the pain points of what people are dealing with when it comes to the most valuable asset within their family, which is their real estate. What is your pain point? Why are you trying to sell? What are you trying to buy? Loans, whatever. And you have to understand what those pain points are. So you have to be the solution specialist. In a lot of cases, you're not going to get any money out of that. You may have to answer a question. You may have to go out there and seek information for someone. But the thing is, you have to be that caveat to where you can actually find that pain point and find a solution. What does that mean? That means that, okay, that John found a solution to my problem. And not only that, but he's actually following up to make sure that solution was able to solve the problem. That work, that is valuable, folks, because that's what I've been doing for the past 10 years now in the business. I get about 3 or 4 calls a week, just folks that are just getting referrals. I have also folks, they'll call, hey, I have a leak upstairs. I'm gonna call my guy Daryll, who's my plumber guy, and he's going to go out there and take care of business for them, and he gets rave reviews. Just recently, Daryll, my plumber, gave me a referral of a listing, and that we put that listing went live last week, and we were in escrow 3 days later. That's just my plumber. So the thing is that what we have to get back to the basics of sitting down with the individuals that we know that they trust us, that they like us. We have to find out what are your needs right now. As a matter of fact, who out there needs help in terms of buying, selling, or investing? Another thing too is that, as you know, for us mature folks, I'm 64 going on 65 next year. Well, the thing is that my kids and my kids' friends, they've seen me consistently working in real estate. So guess what's happening now, folks? I'm out there helping my kids' friends purchase property. I'm helping them to lease. They're actually referring me to their parents. So that's very important. And of course, getting involved in the community. I work with a lot of what we call the centers of influence. I work with a lot of pastors here in LA, and not what you call pastors of the big mega churches, but I'm talking about pastors who pretty much all have their ears to the ground. They know their communities, but also they need help in a lot of different areas. Because that I've helped one pastor who I've helped them get about 4 different properties. And by in beginning of next year, we're going to be doing a big mega seminar for his church. We're going to have surrounding churches within the LA community that's going to be involved. Because one thing I taught them is that there's always, even though folks who are not educated on the process, it does not take a whole lot, okay, to sit down, show them different avenues in terms of purchasing, whether a church, whether the first piece of property, whether properties for the congregants as well. So we just have to go back. Sometimes we get too technical in this thing. I mean, I just sat back and watched and observed what's been going on within the industry, and we've really we've overdone the wording, um, the technical aspect of it, the whole 9 yards. We got to get back to simplicity. Even though we're in this big wide thing, this social media, the information age, AI, we have to make it simplistic for individuals. And the more simplistic you make it, the more trust that's going to actually take place within your business as well. So the thing is that it's all about right now relationships. With this thing with the NAR, we've all gotten sold out by the National Association of Realtors. So we know that it's really the ones that's going to take care of us folks is going to be us, the realtors, you know. So we have to really look out for one another. We have to go out there and do what really made us successful in the business 20, 30, 40 years ago. And that's sitting down, finding out, hey, why do you want to sell? How quick do you need to sell? Okay. What's the best price point for your home? Why do you want to buy? Okay. Do you need a loan? Okay. Are you looking for your what type of investment property do you need? What's your price point? All those different things. And then let's not assume that they know what they're doing. Let's actually sit down and just educate them through the whole process. People right now, they're looking for that. I mean, I talk to a lot of folks, and the one thing that they said, hey, look, I just need to know. I mean, I thought I knew what I was doing, but I really don't. Okay. And so we turn that from a sales aspect to what you call an educational aspect. When you do when you take real estate and you take it from the sales aspect and you approach with educational aspect, what they do is they're going to ask you what is the next step that we need to take. What do we need to go? What is it going to take to get to that next level? And you don't have to sell anymore. All you have to do is provide the service.
I think Daryll came up with a great idea for another topic for us in the future is how to educate our buyers without coming across as salespeople. If our person taking notes on this wants to write that down, I think we can turn that into a great, that can be an entire mastermind that we have on. But hey, I've got a question. I've got Tyrone here. He's got a question. Tyrone Wise, unmute. I think you're unmuted. Ask your question, man.
Yeah, how you doing? How's everyone doing?
Doing great, man.
Good, good. I'm a realtor out here in Georgia, by the way
What
of
part of
Virginia.
Georgia are you in,
I'm in
Tyrone?
Lawrenceville.
Beautiful.
Georgia.
Okay.
Right, right. But I'm new here, and I spent most of my time in Virginia, actually 13 years of real estate. Well, I essentially I did the same thing as a lot of the realtors here, which was I worked in my warm market the whole time, and it was so good that I actually didn't have to do a whole lot of things that are required to do because my phone was ringing. You know, I was in a community where I essentially grew up in. So the people there knew me. And when they thought real estate, they always thought, okay, well, you need to call Tyrone. Well, when you move away 9 hours away, that is essentially not the case. You know, it's easy to educate someone that you have in front of you. But the question is, getting someone in front of you in an environment where you don't have that warm market, where you don't have a group of people that grew up with you and that you know and love. So you don't have the love, the trust, and all these things. So what I'm saying is, I'm hearing a lot of answers, but these answers seem to be from veterans who have a market sewn down. You know, I'm talking about when someone's brand spanking new and they're walking into an area where they don't have all these resources, where they don't know all these people, where they don't have any of that. What is the number one thing that some of you guys would do?
Hey, Tyrone, I got
I
something
love
for you.
that. I love that, Tyrone. Did you take that question right off my phone? Because that's literally the next question we were going to on our panelists, Tyrone, right there. And it's
I'm living it.
this.
I'm
What
living it right now.
advice would you give to agents who are struggling to generate leads? And the follow-up part to that is, what if they're new to their area? What if they don't have a sphere of influence? What would you do then? I'm going to go through the panelists. Your number one lead generation tool you would use if you were either new or you're struggling or you're new to an area, what would you do? And we'll go same order: Drew, Jessica, Kim, Mike, Daryll. Drew, you're muted.
I would connect with some local realtors, hopefully at your brokerage, that are successful, and try to piggyback off their listings. Hold an open house every single weekend. The buyers are going to be coming in, and it'd be a non-negotiable that I'd have with my wife and kids. I'd also try to get involved in some local organizations that I'm passionate about. Again, to meet people, to rub elbows with people, and eventually, we're there for that common goal, that common ground, if you will, that purpose of maybe that charity. Not to talk about real estate, and that would be my slow way of doing it. But I think your fastest way is try to hop into open houses right away.
We have some great, for those of you who are like, well, how do you do an open house, or how do you do an effective open house? Our YouTube channel has some great entire masterminds we did on open houses, because I agree with Drew, and we heard Daryll say this earlier, sometimes going back to just old school ways of doing things. What is old is now new, because no one does open houses right now. That's what makes them so effective. In the old days, when everybody was doing an open house, you'd be lucky if you get one new person that already didn't have a realtor, but now no one does them. So you can be the you can go against the grain, and sometimes that's the best way to go. Jessica, same question. You're new, or you're struggling, or maybe you're new to an area. What would be the most effective tool you would use?
So, Jim, I've done this a few times because we're military, so we move a lot. So I've had to do this 3 times already. And the way that I do it is I do open houses. I go find something like groups that I can network in that I consider my sphere. I might not necessarily, excuse me, I might not necessarily know them already, but we have something in common. Like I'll join, I do like a mommy and me because I have kids and I'll take my kids with me, or I'm a military spouse. So with other military spouses, something that resonates with me. Maybe it's a book club, maybe you like to walk, whatever. And then Facebook. I go on the Facebook groups, and anything that's like renting, rent, buy, sell, whatever they're called, invest, any of those groups that I can in the local area. And I hit those up every single day, and I comment on everything that I can. And it's got to the point now where people just comment my name too. But at first it wasn't that way. So those are the 3 things that I really focus on: is networking within what I consider to be my sphere, doing open houses, and then Facebook, social media.
Do you do any networking groups, Jessica? I know that's where you and I met, what, over 10, 12 years ago. Was that a networking? Was it BNI? I think it was a Gold Star, something like that.
Yeah, one of the two. And yes, I do. In one of my markets that I was in previously, that I still do business in New Mexico, it's very, very small. So there weren't networking groups, so I created them. In Florida, there are more. I'm involved in a BNI group, but I also created one here too.
Great stuff. Great stuff. We'll go to Kim next, then Mike Mundey, then Daryll. Same question. You're kind of new to the area. Maybe you don't have a big sphere, and you've done this too, Kim. You've moved to a new area. What'd you do to get it up and running?
Well, like I was saying, I think it's very important to just pick what market you want to be in when you arrive, and that's going to be just talking to other agents and kind of driving around and being familiar. If you want to stay close to home, then find that area, that local market for you that you want to target. Okay. And then you're going to work on, like I said, those schools, those sports programs, anything that you can do in the community. You don't have to have kids involved in the programs to do those things. Just reach out to the administrative side of each of these places and, see how you can help, whether it's volunteering, whether it is donating to, some sort of club, team, whatever you can do that's affordable for you. You can buy a season sponsorship for $250 in schools around here. It doesn't have to be a whole lot of money to do it. And if you don't have the money, then spend the time volunteering, because that's how you're going to meet people. So, join different charities, associations in the area. A lot of people believe in door knocking and all of that. I personally, I don't do those things because I don't like that kind of stuff at my home. I don't like a stranger arriving at my door that is completely unexpected. I don't like a postcard hanging on my door. So I don't want to do the things that I'm not comfortable with myself, but that doesn't mean it's not right for somebody else. So those are things you can, potentially look into doing if that's a fit for you. I used social media, like I said, doing Facebook Lives. So, you can find your niche in social media and brand yourself. You don't have to have people in your local area know you yet. As you're meeting people and friending people and, having these people follow you, you follow them, then you start to build your audience, and it's what you feed that audience. So this is the time that you use your social media, not just for the fun stuff, but education aspect of what you do. You don't have to be like, oh, anybody want to buy or sell, call me. That's boring. Nobody cares. The important pieces are, what did you do today? Were you, did you meet a buyer? Did you have this consultation? What were the hurdles you overcame to, potentially either get a listing, get a buyer, whatever. You talk about all of the aspects of real estate that people don't understand. People really don't understand our industry. How many times do you talk to buyers and they think they know what, the transaction is going to be? They think it's all about the deal, the money. Here it is. I'm offering you this, you take this, we have a deal. That's the least, that's the very smallest piece of a real estate deal. The rest of it is what people need to understand. How do we get paid? I know we can't talk a lot about commissions and things, but there's things you can say that keep things a little bit confidential and allow you to still be able to discuss, basically like how realtors either are potentially paid. The hurdles that we had this last year with NAR, those are like discussion points that you could easily make posts for. Talk about notice of agency, what that means, dual agency, if that's something that's in your market. All of these pieces of real estate are a topic that you can start to share and educate. And I think that if you can focus on that along with building the brand, and that is you are the brand. So, if you have your own logo, that's great, but the brand is you. So you're building that know, like, and trust factor by sharing what you're doing on the weekends. Do you go to church? Do you go to sports programs? All these things, they see your interests and you're building that know, like, and trust factor, whether you think you are or not. So what you post is very important because people get a judgment about you. Okay. And you want that to be a likable factor, and you want it to be a business factor, professional factor, all these pieces that is going to help you be the one that is approachable when it comes time for real estate for them.
Love it. We'll go Mike and Daryll. And then the next question I'm coming around to everybody is 30 seconds from each person, your top tech tool, just so you can start thinking about that in your head. But we're going to stick with this same question with Mike and Daryll that we're on right now, which is what advice would you give new agents or agents who are struggling to generate leads, or maybe they're new to an area, right? They don't have that sphere of influence. What advice would you give them, Mike, and then Daryll? And then we're going to come back and get everybody's top tech tool.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. Can you guys hear me? Cool. Awesome. All right. So this kind of leads into the story I was getting ready to tell, and it'll make sense when I tell it. But I reconnected with a kid I played baseball and soccer with growing up. Hadn't seen him in like 20 years. I didn't even know he was living in the same area as I was until I ran into him. And essentially from there, he's like, "Oh, hey, you know what? Can you do some private training with my high school age soccer players?" I did that. His kids, they enjoyed it. They got a lot out of it. And one, conversation led to another. It wasn't real estate related. And he's like, "Hey, you know what? I've been rehabbing houses. I've done 6 houses in the last year. I'd love for you to get involved and help me when it's time to unload them." So, that kind of came out of the blue, and it wasn't really anything real estate related. But to that point, if you're in a new market, you're in an unfamiliar place that you haven't been, you don't have a huge sphere there. Use social media, use Facebook, find out who those connections are that you have that are in that market. Like I just went to Miami recently for EXPCon. I looked up on my social media, like who in my past, who in my sphere is in Miami, family, friends, anybody that I haven't talked to in a while, because I could reconnect with them. And then we have a common ground. We're like, "Hey, oh, cool. We're going to be in Miami. That's cool. Hey, I just moved to Atlanta. I just moved to, wherever." It may not be somebody specifically, but you can start dialing in like, okay, my buddy Joe has a connection in Atlanta. So I'm going to hit up Joe and say, "Joe, man, can you introduce me to your buddy I see you have in Atlanta?" And then you kind of, familiarity gets you in the door in order to just, have a connection there. I do think that, door knocking can be great. It doesn't have to be in the old school way where you're invasive. You're up there knocking on the door, looking in the window, at dinner time. But I think getting out and, wherever you're living, just be out, be in the park, be in the library, be, walking your dog down the street. Like every time I'm out somewhere in my neighborhood, if I see a neighbor out walking, or I see a neighbor out taking their trash out or doing yard work or whatever, I just stop and have a conversation with them, not about real estate, just about life, about what's going on. Like, "Hey, I'm your neighbor. I'm Michael. I'm down the street." Eventually they're going to ask me, "Oh, cool. How long you been here? Oh, cool. What do you do for a living?" And I can then easily tell them like, "Hey, yeah, this is what I do. And I'd love to be a resource for you." And it's non-invasive, and they're not going to get, all defensive and be like, "Oh, what are you trying to sell me?" So I think that's important and can work well for people that don't have a sphere where they currently are.
Love it. DC, what do you want to add to there? Good stuff, Mike.
Good, good. Yeah, it's almost like being a new kid at school or something like that. You just moved to a new area. So what we learned, what we were when we were training new agents, there were certain fundamentals that we taught. Number one, there was we call it the 3 foot rule. Okay. So in other words, when you're just out and about, you could be shopping, you could be in the grocery store, you could be whatever, and somebody within 3 feet just strike up a conversation, you know, and that was it. And the conversation does not have to be real estate. It could be something where, I mean, ladies, you all are great at doing that. Girl, I love that purse. Where did you get it? Before you know it, they're spending 30 minutes talking about where the best place to go to get some of the nicest things. With guys here, with sports, whatever, because and what that does, it turns into, of course, we're going to use what the form, you know, FORM, family, occupation, recreation, money, need, or greed, so to speak. So and then what happens, it turns into as far as what do you do? Okay. And so I just moved in the area. I opened up an office, real estate office, and you may be able to help me. Those different things. Also, too, take advantage of workplace. Um, as far as you're going in the workplace, I get alerts all the time. Folks are looking for help in terms of showing properties or open houses, and that could be in the area that you're actually that you move to. Also, too, don't even with your family and friends that you left, guess what? They may have some acquaintances that are living in the same area that you moved to. Put together a short letter and send it to them and find out who they know that they can connect up with as well. Okay. Also too, it's I saw somebody bring up an somewhere teachers going to a school sponsoring a luncheon where you can go in and educate teachers on some of the teacher down payment assistance programs that teachers can take advantage of as well in the local area. So anything that just puts you in front of individuals, and all it takes is getting that one person's information and getting somebody else's information. And then what happens, it just becomes you're going to be doing what you call providing information as well. And also on the flip side too, you're going to be learning more and more about the area. But I do a lot of mentoring, and what I do with folks that are new to the area, I actually have them go back to their family members, finding out who has moved to California recently, who has been out here for the past X amount of years, and they will actually get referrals of those acquaintances, and they can start the process as well. So I call that taking the path of least resistance as
I
well.
love it. Love it, Daryll. Love it. Love it. So everybody loves tech, right? Everybody's like, what's the newest and latest and greatest piece of tech, right? Who on here loves tech or loves to hate tech? But I want to go through the panelists and I want to hear from each person just like 30 seconds. You don't have to tell us how it works, but tell us what it is you're using, your favorite piece of tech for lead generation. And you can put in the chat box too if there's a website or something to go with it, because everybody's going to hit me up as to what it was. But we're going to go in the same order again. Drew, I think I see Drew on here. So, yep, Drew's in here still. So we'll go Drew, Jessica, Kim, Mike, and then Daryll. 30 seconds each on your favorite piece of tech for lead gen. Go ahead, Drew.
Hit them up. Hit them up for sure. It's a unique way to have a high tech, high touch business and uniquely text large mass amounts of people. I do it every Thanksgiving. I do it anytime I'm trying to get final head counts for any parties. And it's very simple to use. And I think it might be $5 a month.
Love it. If it's got a website, if you want to put it in there, that's great. Or they can probably just Google, hit them up. Andy ATL says top tech tools, KV Core automated posting to Meta, Craigslist, X, also Instagram Reels. Love it, Andy. Thank you for the input on that. Let's go, Jessica. Number one piece of tech that you're using.
I mean, my phone. My phone is my favorite. And then my CRM.
What do you mean your phone? You're calling them or you're using it to post? What are you doing with your phone?
All of the above, Jim. I use it to
All the above.
post, call them, text them, TikTok, you name it. I'm on my phone 24/7.
I love it. Kim, you're next. Top piece of tech.
I agree. The phone, I use it for everything I do in real estate. Photos to PDF is one of my favorite apps just because I constantly am turning a photo of something into a PDF and sending it to my SkySlope files. I also, just for a website for anybody who isn't aware, the Personal Marketing Center online. It's the Personal Marketing Company, tpmco.com.
Make sure you put that in the chat for us, Kim, because they're all going to hit me up a million times once you're done. Keep going. That's good.
$25, you guys. After a closing, pay $25. They will hit them up, all of your clients, for 5 years for $25 a piece. And it sends them, mailing labels as soon as the closing is over with their new address. It'll send them, seasonal newsletters, all of that. Wow. You put it in one time, pay that fee, and for 5 years, they are keeping up with them quarterly for you. So it is so worth it.
That is big. Put that in there, will you, Kim? So everybody can find that. Beautiful. Mike Mundey, top piece of tech to use. 30 seconds on it.
I definitely am going to have to go with my phone. I pretty much live on it. I do everything on it. And I think to be more specific, dial in all the apps that are available to us and in your local market that can help you have the resources at your fingertips when you need them, in terms of like, whatever MLS you're in, there is an app that's going to allow you to jump on your phone. Most markets have that. You can send, so I can send, a lot of times I can send the disclosures straight to a client. When I initially, make contact with them, they're excited about a property. You have to get some buy-in quickly from them. Could be Joe Schmo on the phone. They don't know you from anybody, but they know they want to see that house. They know they're interested in it. So you have a short window to really gain them as a client and an opportunity to work with them. And if I can tell them, let me dig into it, and I'm going to find out what the property disclosure looks like, see if there's any red flags for us that we need to be aware of, and then I can jump on that app through the MLS.
What's that app? Which one are you using, Mike? So everybody wants to know. You're talking about an app. Which one?
Yeah, so for Columbus, it's Flex MLS Pro.
Okay, so you're using the MLS app.
Yeah, or for the Dayton markets, MLS Touch, which they just integrated, which is new. But I can jump on there. I can dial in the listing. I can go into the disclosures, and I can send them those documents. A lot of times straight through text. From the MLS Flex MLS Pro app, and I mean within literally 10 seconds, the client has those disclosures, which it's just buy-in. They're like, wow, this guy's on top of it. He knows what he's doing. He can get me the information I need. This is the guy I want to work with. So for me, that's been a huge opportunity when I'm working with clients that I don't know, I haven't met, I haven't done a presentation for, they haven't even signed, at this stage, they haven't signed any buyer broker agreement. But the fact
I'm going to cut you off there, Mike, because we're doing a short version on this, because I got a couple more questions I want to fire out. But that's a great one. Use your MLS app to give instant information to people. Daryll, 30 seconds. Number one piece of tech you're using that people here could take and copy.
I pretty much started working more with KV Core. I try to keep it simplistic, the stuff that we pay for as well.
You're using CRM.
CRM, exactly. And then not only that, but also what Coach DP's had us doing is that we're just going back and sending out, we're going to be sending out a mass, we have postcards being made up and just sending them out to our clients, Thanksgiving, Christmas, what have you.
Who are you using for that, Daryll? What's the program company for mass mailing of cards? You know the name on it, or if David, you know what it is? You got to unmute, David. You're muted. Oh, I thought he was.
Hey, D, unmute yourself, D.
I thought he was talking to us.
D, unmute. Oh, I thought he was.
He might be talking to someone else.
Oh,
no problem. Okay. I like it. So,
yeah,
I think there's send out cards. There's different things like that, programs where you can pay and you can get those automated. So I got a question.
We're actually using Canva. We're using Canva and developing the cards, and then we have a couple of nice, reasonable individuals that will actually help us send them out, or we can actually use Every Door Direct as well to if we're going to send them out to the communities and things of that nature as well.
Will you put that in the chat box, Daryl, what you're talking about
Sure.
there with that send out card? So, because people are going to ask that. I see some
Gotcha.
people asking, what is the app that follows clients for 5 years? I think it's in the chat box, son. You have to look up there. She's got it. Kim's got it in there. So I got a question for you guys. So we're talking about, making relationships with people and things like that. But what about if any of you, if you're not doing any paid marketing to get leads, you can skip this one. We're going to go in the same order again. But what is your number one paid marketing? If are you using the Z word leads? Are you using something else where you're paying? Are you doing SEO? What are you doing? And I'm going to go Drew again, same order: Drew, Jessica, Kim, Mike, Daryl. Drew, what if you're doing any paid stuff? What's your number one paid?
I'm not paying for anything. It's all back on the people.
Okay, love it. Jessica, are you doing any paid?
Don't do paid. Nope.
Got it. Kim, how about you?
The only paid I do is I put boosted money behind my KB Core. Like I will boost or do squeeze pages or things like that nature, and then put some ad money behind it.
So you're search engine optimizing your listings to go out and then posting them on Facebook, or you have an auto poster that pays to post them on Facebook. And it runs about what, $60 bucks for a week? Is that about right?
Yeah, I mean, you can do about, I think it's about $150 for a 3-week, and I usually do that because even if I sell the listing quick, it still brings in leads for me to call.
Love it. Beautiful. What's your cost per lead on that? Do you know off the top of your head, ballpark?
Honestly, I don't at this moment.
I'm thinking the average is around $3.50 a lead on that particular program running out of that CRM. I think nationally is what it's running. Could be more in different markets. Mike,
you'll pick, like I'll pick and choose too on which ones I boost. So I usually don't boost them for about a week because I see how they're going to perform, and I don't spend the money if I don't have to be honest, or if I know that I'm not busy enough and I want the leads.
Great. Love it. That's a great thing about Facebook marketing is you can just turn it off if it's not getting the hits that you want. Where in the old days, you had to buy a magazine ad and you were stuck with it, whether it hit or not. You paid that money up front. Mike Mundey, paid marketing at all?
Yeah, the only thing for me is the same, the KB Core boost for listings or open houses before I do an open, and I get it, a steady stream of potential clients to reach out to. That's
Love
it.
Love it. Daryl, how about you? Any paid marketing or old school stuff?
Same here. I just utilize KB Core Boost.
Love it. Beautiful, beautiful. So quick question. So agents get paid, especially newer agents and things like that, right? They get that big commission check and they're rich, right? One thing the agents forget to do is put money away for their taxes. And they also forget to put money away for marketing. How much, if any, when you guys get a check, we're going to go in the same order again. What percentage, just real quick, this is rapid fire. What percentage of your commission are you putting away for future marketing, for your parties you're doing, for your mailers you're doing, for your giveaways that you're doing at your kids' sporting events and stuff like that? What percentage of your commission check are you setting aside each commission check? Go ahead, same order. Drew, Jessica, Kim, Mike, Daryl.
30% goes to the tax account, and then 10% goes to the marketing, and then the remaining is just my operating account.
Beautiful. Jessica, what percent?
I live in Florida. We don't have state taxes. So 20% there, 20% to marketing, 10% to charity, and then the rest goes to me.
Beautiful. How about you, Kim? Marketing money, how much you putting away of each check?
I line up with Drew with everything he said.
10% on there. Beautiful. Mike?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm essentially the same as Drew and Kim as well.
So 10%. Beautiful. Daryl, what percent are you putting away for marketing out of each check?
Marketing about 15% for marketing, and 20%. I do a lot of write-offs as far as tax-wise, about 20% as far as taxes as well. And try to be consistent with that.
I love it. So if you're an agent on here and you're newer, or if you just need to drive a stake in the ground to start 2025 off right, make a commitment to yourself. Every check you get, obviously you put away your percentage for taxes, somewhere between 20 to 30% for that, but put away 10% for marketing. And then as soon as you get that money, reinvest it right back out there into the place and watch what happens to your business. It will absolutely blow up. It's going to feel like you're sacrificing, but you're not. The money you're spending now is going to pay off about 120 to 180 days downstream of the investment you put in for marketing money. All right. So we have another question here. We're going to do rapid fire, 1 minute for each person as we close in on 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So 60 seconds for each of you. What is the one piece of advice or secret sauce that you would give to somebody that wants to have their best year ever in real estate in 2025? What would you give it to them as it goes with lead generation? What would be your piece of advice you'd give them? Drew, go ahead.
Participate in your business every day. It's more important to work on the business, not just in the business each day.
And how much time would you put away for that each day to work on your business? Percentage of your day?
I'd say it's an hour to 90 minutes every single day doing something that is all lead generating type stuff.
Beautiful. Love it. Jessica, secret sauce you'd give somebody, or 60 seconds of advice?
Pick 3 things you want to do and consistently go after them every day. I do 2 hours a day, but every day.
And I heard something secret there that I hope people caught. It's something that you want to do because you find energy in that, right? If it's something that you hate and despise, you're not good at, you're probably not going to do it.
Agreed.
I love it. Okay, beautiful. Kim.
Every client should feel like your current client, even if you've closed the sale.
Oh, wow. And how, if we were going to follow up on that question a little bit, how do you make them feel that way? What are you doing? What's the secret sauce on it?
Well, hang on. Give me 1 sec.
Well, your background is gorgeous there. Is that you as a princess there in that picture behind you?
That is, I made some magazine covers, which I actually
Nice.
put up in my office. Somebody had framed them for me, so I put them up.
Very cool. What is it? What is it? How do you make them feel special? What is
I
that?
have a new baby, for example. I send these cute little onesies, branded. I have coloring books, branded. They're, for kids. I mean, you make them feel special. Send them. I've sent Valentine's socks. I've had Easter egg hunts. I've dropped a basket I've hid about 6 eggs in their yard, put a little basket on their porch, note being left for them that they're having to find so many eggs. So summertime.
Who's doing your branding, Kim? Who's doing your printing and stuff like that?
Anybody and everybody. I work, like I said, I work with local people as much as possible, but I've used some nationals as well.
That's great.
Christmas, it's ornaments, whatever I'm doing, but I will always stay front of mind for my clients. So they will feel nurtured and feel like a friend at all times. Pets and kids, focus on that, boy, with people. They love that. All right, 1 minute each, Michael and Daryll. So we'll finish up here on time. Secret sauce or piece of advice. People want to have their best 2025 ever lead generation idea. What do you got?
Yeah, lead generation, I think for me, would be to block out some time every day and go back through and reconnect with people that aren't top of mind, that are potential clients, because they may be cold. You may think they're cold, but when you reach out and connect to them, like maybe they're hot and you didn't know it. And it's the same old story. Like, oh, I forgot you were a realtor. So, just stay top of mind for them. And that's what Kim's doing by sending out all those items. Whatever you're comfortable with doing to stay in touch with them is key.
Everybody's looking to be validated. That's why everybody's on social media. They're putting stuff out there because they want to be noticed and confirmed and show that they matter. So I love it. Great. Daryll, take us home with this right here at the end. 60 seconds on what would be the one piece of 1 minute advice you'd give somebody on here who wants to have the best 2025 ever.
The best 2025, act like you just started from square one. This past September, DP, we were in Vegas for a 3-day conference, and we went back to basics. This is what we do probably can't see this, but we have a prospecting and marketing sheet. It's called accountability. So in other words, you want to pick, Jessica hit it on the nail. She said about 3 items. We have about 5 items that you want to choose, that you want to work consistently and do it every day. If you have nothing going on in your business, then you don't have any days off until you have something going on in your business. And you have to work it consistently. And you pick those 5 things that you want to work, that you love working it, And then you have to actually track what you do as well and find yourself an accountability partner. So just like a coach, just like I was in athletics for years. And the one thing that I always relied on was my coach. And the thing is called the coach is going to keep it honest. So you want to have somebody that's going to keep it honest, keep it 100 with you as well. So just start from the beginning and just no matter how much money you've made or making, and just pick those 5 things and go after it. Whether it's the audiences, it's, your conversation, social media posts, lead generation, database, all those different things as well. And we can
Beautiful.
actually
Love it.
DP can get the stuff over to you as well because it's a very valuable tool.
Great. Love it. Getting back to basics. Absolutely. Accountability partner and a coach. Love it also. I want to thank all of our panelists today. Great stuff today, giving away all their secrets for you. Hopefully everybody got something out of it. Look, we put a bunch of great stuff in the chat. Go ahead and download the chat. You can do that so you can catch everything that was put in there. So you have what's going on. There's a little 3 dots up at the top of the chat. At least on my computer, it's at the top. Sometimes it's at the bottom. And you can save the chat to your computer. And that way you have those different tech tools that they gave you and things like that. So it's saved as a text file. Look, next Monday, we're going to get together noon Eastern Standard Time. We've got a great one for you. And what's coming up is we're going to be talking about longevity in real estate. We're going to have some grizzled, we'll call them young, seasoned veterans, some grizzled, not grizzled old veterans, some grizzled seasoned veterans who are going to be on, people that have been in the business 20, 30, and going on 40 years. How is it that they were able to sustain success over the long term? Because anybody can be good for a year or even 2 years. How do you last for decades in this business? And they're going to give you the tips and tricks and hints. If they were to go back in time and tell themselves as a new agent some advice, they're going to give you that advice. So no matter how long you've been in the business, you say it's good to learn from your mistakes. It's even better to learn from someone else's mistakes, right? Of what they've done and what they would do better. And we're going to talk about that. Keep in mind, we have our website, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, all those different things for you to log on to and access those tools. And hey, it's all free. Here's all we ask. Show up, bring some good questions, bring a topic for us to do, but bring a friend. We'd love to grow this thing because what happens is when we're all in these different markets, bringing all this knowledge together, I think we can all learn from each other a ton. So thank everybody for jumping on. That was awesome. Great job by our panelists today. You guys rocked it. We'll see all of you next Monday, noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock West Coast. Nice and early out there for everybody. So we'll stop the recording from there, and I'll just take a second to say bye to everybody if Big John wants to stop the recording.